What's up, Wrestling Universe? Welcome back to Wrestling vs. CC, your home for the most insane wrestling drama and shocking moments that leave the entire WWE Universe speechless. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the most heart-wrenching betrayals in recent WWE history that has sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. But before we unpack this absolute bombshell, make sure you smash that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and let me know in the comments below, are you Team Seth or Team Becky after what went down? Trust me, after today's video, your opinion might completely change. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The Monday Night Messiah and the Man. Two of WWE's biggest superstars, a real-life power couple who seemed unbreakable both in and out of the ring. But what happened last week has left the entire WWE Universe asking one devastating question: how could Seth Rollins do this to Becky Lynch? Picture this scene: Raw is in its final moments. Becky Lynch has just delivered an absolutely incredible promo about her comeback journey, about fighting through adversity, about proving that she's still the man in WWE's women's division. The crowd is on their feet, chanting her name, and just when you think the night is winding down, Seth Rollins' music hits. But wait, this isn't the supportive boyfriend coming out to celebrate his partner's triumph. No. The look in Seth's eyes tells a completely different story. There's something cold, something calculating, something that makes your blood run cold. To understand the magnitude of this betrayal, we need to rewind the clock. For months, we've watched Seth and Becky navigate their relationship while both trying to maintain their individual careers at the top of WWE. On social media, they seemed like the perfect power couple. Behind the scenes, according to insider reports, things were getting complicated. Sources close to the situation, and I'm talking about people with direct access to WWE's inner circle, have been whispering for weeks about tension between the two. It started small. Seth feeling overshadowed by Becky's incredible comeback story. Becky reportedly feeling like Seth wasn't being supportive enough of her championship aspirations. But here's where it gets really interesting: Wrestling Universe. Industry insiders are now revealing that this wasn't just about their personal relationship. This was about power, about position, about who would be the face of WWE moving forward. So back to that Raw episode. Seth walks down that ramp, microphone in hand, and the entire arena falls silent. You could hear a pin drop. Becky standing in the ring, confused, maybe even hopeful that her boyfriend is coming out to support her latest victory. Seth gets in the ring, and for a moment, just a brief moment, it looks like he might embrace her. The camera zooms in on their faces, and you can see the uncertainty, the tension, the electricity in the air. Then Seth raises the microphone, and what comes out of his mouth sends shockwaves through the entire WWE Universe. Becky, you've been living in a fantasy. You call yourself the Man, but standing next to the Monday Night Messiah, you're nothing more than a pretender to my throne. The crowd explodes in boos. Becky's face transforms from confusion to absolute heartbreak to pure rage in a matter of seconds. But Seth isn't done. Oh no, he's just getting started. For too long, I've watched you bask in glory that should have been mine. I've watched the WWE Universe cheer for you while I, the architect of this company's success, get pushed to the background. Well, no more. What happened next will go down as one of the most shocking moments in WWE history. Without warning, without hesitation, Seth Rollins, the man who supposedly loved Becky Lynch, delivered a devastating superkick that sent the man crashing to the canvas. The arena erupted in genuine shock. This wasn't your typical WWE storyline betrayal. The emotion on Becky's face, the way she looked up at Seth from the mat, this felt real. This felt personal. This felt like something that transcended entertainment and ventured into genuine heartbreak. But Seth wasn't finished. As Becky tried to get to her feet, still processing what had just happened, Seth grabbed a steel chair. The crowd was screaming, officials were rushing to the ring, but Seth had tunnel vision. He raised that chair above his head, and for a moment that felt like an eternity, the entire wrestling world held its breath. Would he really do it? Would Seth Rollins really attack the woman he claimed to love with a steel chair? He didn't swing the chair. Instead, he dropped it right next to Becky's head and delivered what might have been even more devastating than any physical attack, his final words. "You want to be the man, Rebecca? Prove it by picking up the pieces of the career I just destroyed." The wrestling world has been in absolute chaos since this moment aired. Social media exploded with reactions from current WWE superstars, legends, and fans who couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. Triple H reportedly called an emergency meeting with both superstars immediately after Raw went off the air. According to backstage sources, the meeting was heated, emotional, and lasted well into the night. Mick Foley tweeted, "In 30 years in this business, I've rarely seen something that made me question the line between reality and storyline like what Seth did to Becky." Stone Cold Steve Austin, never one to mince words, posted, "That wasn't entertainment. That was a man burning down everything he claimed to care about." But here's what's really got the wrestling world buzzing: multiple sources are reporting that this storyline wasn't entirely scripted. While WWE Creative knew about a potential Seth heel turn, the specific details and emotional intensity of what played out apparently surprised even WWE management. This betrayal has completely shifted WWE's landscape. Seth Rollins, who was already establishing himself as one of the top heels in the company, has now reached a new level of villainy. But this isn't cartoon villain stuff, this is deeply personal, emotionally complex heel work that has fans genuinely invested in seeing him get his comeuppance. For Becky Lynch, this presents both a challenge and an opportunity. The sympathy and support she's received from the WWE Universe since this betrayal has been overwhelming. Her merchandise sales have reportedly skyrocketed, and there's talk of fast-tracking her into a major storyline that could lead to a WrestleMania moment. Industry analysts are already speculating about potential match scenarios. Could we see Seth versus Becky in an intergender match? Might this lead to Becky aligning with other female superstars to take down Seth and his potential stable? The possibilities are endless and absolutely fascinating. But Wrestling Universe, this situation raises some deeper questions about WWE and professional wrestling as a whole. How much of what we saw was genuine emotion bleeding through the scripted entertainment? In an era where the lines between reality and storyline are increasingly blurred, moments like this force us to examine what we're really watching. Some critics argue that using a real-life relationship as the foundation for such an intensely personal storyline crosses ethical boundaries. Others maintain that this is exactly the kind of compelling, emotionally invested storytelling that modern wrestling needs to stay relevant. What we do know is that both Seth and Becky are consummate professionals who understand the business better than most. If they agreed to this storyline direction, they did so knowing the potential impact on both their careers and their personal relationship. Seth Rollins has always been one of WWE's most versatile performers, but this heel turn represents something different. This isn't just about being the bad guy, this is about being the kind of villain that fans genuinely despise on a personal level. Early reports suggest that WWE is planning to lean heavily into this new character direction for Seth. Expect to see him target not just Becky, but potentially other beloved babyfaces in ways that feel deeply personal and emotionally charged. There's also speculation about potential allies for Seth in this new villainous role. Could we see the return of the Authority? Might Seth form a new stable centered around the idea of men reclaiming their position at the top of WWE's hierarchy? The creative possibilities are endless and absolutely intriguing. For Becky Lynch, this betrayal could become the defining moment that elevates her career to even greater heights. The sympathy and support she's receiving from fans worldwide provides WWE with incredible storytelling opportunities. Imagine the pop when Becky finally gets her hands on Seth. Picture the emotional investment fans will have in her journey back to the top after being betrayed by someone she trusted completely. This is the kind of long-term storytelling that creates legendary wrestling moments. There are also rumors about potential dream matches this storyline could facilitate. Becky vs. Charlotte, with Charlotte surprisingly supporting her former rival against Seth. A mixed tag team match featuring Becky and a surprise partner against Seth and a female ally. The booking possibilities are absolutely exciting. Wrestling Universe, your reactions to this storyline have been absolutely incredible. The comments on our last video, the discussions on social media, the passionate debates about whether Seth was justified or completely out of line. This is exactly the kind of engagement that shows how powerful professional wrestling can be when it's done right. Some of you are Team Seth, arguing that his character motivations make sense and that this betrayal was inevitable given the circumstances. Others are firmly behind Becky, viewing Seth's actions as unforgivable and eagerly anticipating her revenge. What's fascinating is how this storyline has created genuine emotional investment from fans. This isn't just about who wins or loses matches, this is about justice, redemption, trust, betrayal, and all the complex emotions that make the best wrestling storylines feel real and important. Wrestling Universe, what Seth Rollins did to Becky Lynch represents everything that makes professional wrestling compelling. It's shocking, it's emotional, it's unpredictable, and it has all of us talking and speculating about what comes next. This storyline is far from over, and Wrestling vs. CC will be here to break down every twist, every turn, and every shocking moment as it unfolds. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because you know WWE is going to deliver some absolutely incredible moments as this story continues to develop. In the comments below, let me know, do you think Seth and Becky can ever come back from this betrayal? What would you book as Becky's revenge? And most importantly, are you ready for what promises to be one of the most emotionally charged feuds in recent WWE history? Thanks for watching Wrestling vs. CC, and remember, in the world of professional wrestling, you never know when the next shocking betrayal is coming. Until next time, keep wrestling.